Hello, everyone. I've recalculated our plan. Prepare yourselves for an unforgettable encounter.
Tonight's special takes us out east to the Magic Kingdom to explore the wonders of excess technology and Disney's scariest attraction, Extra-TERROR-estrial alien encounter. In the early 90s, the Disney parks, in comparison to nearby Universal, took on a kids park stereotype. So in 1993, Alien Encounter was announced and soon went into development for both Magic Kingdom and Disneyland. But despite being advertised as based on Alien, the rights fell through and Imagineers created excess technology. Given the previous financial pitfalls of Euro Disney, the attraction's budget was tight. Alien Encounter would be the main addition to the Magic Kingdom's new Tomorrowland renovation, replacing Mission to Mars, ready in late 1994, or at least they thought. Being on a budget, all of Alien Encounter was completely made in-house, salvaging much of Mission to Mars' infrastructure, like the queue and main theaters. During the renovation, each of the two theaters and the projection basements and lofts were utilized for the main show's teleportation tube that we'll talk about later. Additionally, during construction, a pre-show area was built and 3 animatronic figures were brought in for a simple demonstration of the wonders of excess teleportation. Heading the demonstration behind a control panel was a rare exposed animatronic that allowed guests to see all of its moving parts. Featuring countless points of motion, this hydraulic pressure-controlled figure could articulate its fingers, hands, arms, upper torso, head, and mouth in a number of directions, all with extremely fluid motion. Being behind the panel allowed for the figure to not have any legs and can shift left and right on a slider. At the front of his face, a small sheet of frosted plastic was placed to serve as a projection screen for the green lasers that shine from the back of his head to the front, forming and animating his eyes. The figure, which went by Tom 2000 and later Sir, ushered guests in for a simple demonstration of teleporting Skippy, our carefree traveler, from one teleportation tube transmitter in the room to the receiver on the other end. For the main demo in the pre-show, a small lift system moved Skippy's small, limited motion figure within the tube. Within each tube's main base and top were a number of lights that shined on the tube and inside of it to create patterns for the appearance and to mask what was really going on. With the fog and strobing lights, the figure would be lowered into the base, hidden from view for the rest of the show. In the other tube, fog and lights would fill the tube the same way, and the fried Skippy figure would be raised up from the base into the tube, visible when the smoke cleared. With the show, it was simply a process of filling the tube with fog, lowering the figure, and evacuating the fog from the tube to reveal it empty. The main animatronic then bids us farewell as we're directed into the main show chambers. Following the hallway, we're directed to one of the 2 theaters and asked to quickly fill all available seats. Being budgeted was clearly not good for Alien Encounter, as the main part of the attraction that ran the project over budget was what the show would use to hold and scare guests. What they created was a completely new special effect haptic feedback seat. Each of the attraction's seats featured a long list of special effects used to scare riders with multiple sound, touch, and environment effects.
You see nothing, but then you hear and feel the hot breath of a horrific creature merely inches from the back of your neck.
When ready, demo assistants Spinlock and Dr. Femus would lower the shoulder bars that appear as over-the-shoulder restraints.
The analysis modules above your head will now lower into place. Please remain seated in an upright position with your arms at your sides. When the modules touch your shoulders, they will stop automatically, so remain seated and do not interrupt their operation.
Riders remain stationary the entire time, and the restraints are simply to keep guests seated and to align the seat's effects with each individual rider. The restraint would lower using 2 hydraulic pistons, and when each module would touch the shoulders of riders, they would stop automatically. This was done through one of 2 separate systems. One would lower the restraint until meeting the shoulders of riders, Once the bar felt resistance, the system would bleed fluid out a pressure relief valve, which transferred control of the bar to the second hydraulic system. This would bounce the bar up and down a bit, testing the pressure for later in the show, when they would press down on riders to make riders believe the alien was on their shoulders. To really sell the experience, every seat featured a pair of stereo speakers that allowed for 3D sound using binaural audio. The bar, lowering to the shoulders, positioned them carefully next to each rider's ears, which allowed for an intimate personal experience. Additionally, the development team was able to salvage the transducers from Mission to Mars, placing them under each seat in banks of subwoofers under the floor. With each rider sitting at a bit of an angle, the back of each seat rose fairly high up each rider's back, allowing for the seat to puff hot steam up and then down the necks of riders, as if the alien was breathing right above you.
Drop the shield!
Located on the back of each seat module, water misters were positioned at the seats behind them for the finale of the show, in combination with a line positioned at the end of the bar restraint that blasted air at riders' faces. During the show, a real cast member would shine a flashlight from above, searching for the auxiliary power switch, and then pretending to be consumed by the alien. For added physical touch, water sprinklers were added above the seats in order to simulate the blood of our unfortunate victim in the rafters above. Of course, the main attraction was the alien in the teleportation tube itself, starting with the tube, which consisted of a two-sided polycarbonate tube held in the middle by a large ring, with a fake shattered tube on one end and a normal tube on the other. During the show, the lights in the theater would go out and the tube is slid upward on rails. By the time the lights drove back on, the broken end of the tube is in place. Because the tube and blast shield ride up and down for the show, the lights, fog outlets, and cyclone-forming fans are suspended down from a truss system far above the tube and hidden by the upper sections of the teleportation tube. Of course, the genius of Alien Encounter was less about what you could see and more about what you couldn't, but felt from the seats. Nevertheless, it wouldn't be Alien Encounter if there wasn't an alien. As mentioned, the ride was originally advertised as featuring the actual warrior alien from the Alien movie franchise, but the rights never materialized. Instead, the development team created their own character in an alien beamed in from an intercepting planet. This alien stood 10 feet tall and was constructed around a central column that was fixed to the lift system. Similar to the Skippy pre-show setup, the animatronic was lifted into position from the basement and was hydraulically controlled. The alien's body contained 19 points of motion from the lift, rotation, head movements, wings, the legs, and mouth all coming together to form a massively frightening creature. Before we get into the show, I just wanted to send a very special thanks to Ryan Pervola for helping bring together much of the information and details you've heard about so far. During what would become the first soft opening version of Alien Encounter, the attraction beckoned riders towards the haphazardly set up teleport tower and into the Tomorrowland Interplanetary Convention Center. The equipment setup that guests would pass in the queue was designed in a way to imply that what guests were about to see was rather unsafe, and also implying that excess technology was of course putting profits ahead of safety. When the doors opened, guests were let in to be briefed on Excess's history. What guests would see next was one of the main deception issues that plagued the attraction in its original 1994 version. Entering a demonstration room, guests would meet Tom 2000, which stood for Techno-Robotic Oratorical Mechanism Series 2000, a sort of traveling robotic salesman voiced by Phil Hartman. In the pre-show, Tom would sarcastically demonstrate the wonders of excess teleportation technology and encountering some small issues. The main complaint that guests had for this version of the attraction was that the lighthearted tone of the pre-show did not set riders up for what was to come. After leaving the pre-show area, guests are directed into one of two theaters for their main demonstration. After being seated, the slow exposition of the attraction story became more apparent, taking too long to build up to the main alien scene. What the attraction failed to advertise was that it was not for children, given how personal the alien would seemingly get with each guest throughout the show. After countless complaints, Alien Encounter was closed for a full story reworking. In 1995, and $5 million of reworking later to fix certain technical issues, Alien Encounter would reopen, with better warnings and a much darker pre-show featuring SIR,
which stands for Simulated Intelligence Robotics. What do you want, Skippy?
now with a more menacing voice. From Tim Curry, the kind of attraction guests were in store for was made much clearer, allowing for young Earthlings to exit before it was too late. After being secured, we met Spinlock and Dr. Femus again, setting up our demonstration, when Chairman Clench burst in with a new idea and, rushing to meet his demands, is teleported to the wrong planet, picking up an alien. Cutting out the lengthy exposition, the show gets right to the alien before it breaks out. The alien then flies around, seemingly landing on guests and breathing down their necks thanks to the effects of the seats. A cast member that would walk in the rafters above with a flashlight would help restore the power to the chamber before being eaten.
XS Lab, this is Maintenance 1. We've got major damage. What's going on in here?
Just a blackout. Find the auxiliary power switch.
No problem.
Along with some very realistic bone-crunching sound effects and spraying guests with fake blood.
Listen to me, please. Don't scream. If you remain perfectly quiet, it probably won't eat you.
Whose brain is this?
After regaining power, Dr. Femus geniusly lured the alien back into the teleportation tube, before attempting to send it back to its planet. But, with the power needed to contain it, the alien explodes before the blast cover closes, hitting guests with an explosion of air and water.
Drop the shield!
My mouth was open.
Before long, Spinlock and Dr. Femus reconnected to apologize and release guests.
But after all,
It does take time to seize the future.
good point.
Thank you so much for
The restraints
coming.
would raise
Please
back
exit
up, and guests would, say it with me, exit through the gift shop.
Been eaten.
Thank you.
Despite the expense of reworking and overhaul, Alien Encounter never became the massive hit Disney had hoped it would become, and it would officially close on October 12, 2003, to be relegated to a fate worse than demolition, Stitch's Great Escape. And that's how Extra-TERROR-estrial Alien Encounter worked. Please subscribe, let us know what you'd like to see covered next, and join our Patreon for early access, Discord perks, and more. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the parks.
It's an alien!
It's my mother-in-law.
A journey through interstellar space via tech tag Feynman.
The wrong